How's it going? David Crandall here with FL Studio School. Today I'm going to be talking about how to set up your own live sound system. Everybody knows that if you're in a band or if you're an artist or you're making music, one of the greatest ways to make new fans is to go out and perform shows. And one way to reduce the hassle of performing shows is to set up your own live sound system. Everybody knows what a pain in the butt it is to go to a venue of some kind, no matter how big or small. You get there, you're told you're going to be provided a sound system, and when you get there, the sound system is awful. You play, everything's peaking, one of the speakers blows out, the stadium explodes. You know the drill. But today, I'm going to teach you how to reduce that hassle by getting your own sound system and setting it up yourself. This way you can get your own sound the way you want it, as loud as you want it. There are 3 ways to set up your sound system. The first way is to use a powered mixer. Basically, a powered mixer has its own built-in power amp, which is great because that means you can buy any non-powered speaker just like these and power them so that you can get sound. The drawback is most powered mixers have a limited amount of channels and only give power for the main outputs. So your auxiliaries and monitors don't get any power. So if you decide you want to use monitors or wedges, you'll have to get either a powered speaker or a power amp and another non-powered speaker. The second way to set up a live sound system is to use a non-powered mixer just like this one and use powered speakers. Now this is very similar, as you don't have to buy another power amp. You can just buy some powered speakers of your choice and plug it in to the mixer of your choice. Now the great thing about doing this is you can choose whatever non-powered mixer you want. So you can get as many features as you want in a non-powered mixer with as many aux buses. The drawback is price. Powered speakers are usually very expensive, and if you want to run your mains, monitors, you're going to have to buy the speakers themselves, you're going to have to buy speaker cables, which is a given for any system, and then you're going to have to buy extension cables so that you can reach whatever power source there is to power your speakers. So that's the one drawback of that. And then there's this setup where you use a non-powered mixer, non-powered speakers, and a power amplifier that gives power to your speakers. Now the reason I choose to do this is because you can get any type of speaker you want, any type of mixer you want, and any type of power source you want. So you could actually end up saving yourself a lot more money than buying a powered mixer or powered speakers. The only drawback is this is a little bit more complex to set up, but it's not too difficult, and I'm going to show you how to do this today. Before I begin, let me show you the gear that I'm going to be using for this tutorial. First, I'm going to be using 2 PV speakers. I'm not 100% sure the model numbers of these speakers, but 2 PV speakers that run at 1400 watts at 4 ohms. Then I'm using a QSC power amp, the PreSonus Studio Live 16.0.2, and then I'll be using a MacBook Pro to play music from my new CD into the mixer. It will be our sound. First thing to note is I have both my power amp and my mixer plugged in to a surge protector or power block down below, which you can't see. But we have these plugged in, but they are not powered on. Make sure before you turn everything on that everything is set up as it should be and plugged in properly. If you have everything turned on while you're setting up, you can get a lot of pops. You could blow your channels on the mixer, you can blow the channels on your power amp, you can even blow your speakers. So be sure everything is turned off completely before you set everything up. Okay, first thing we need to do is we need to connect our mixer to our amp. And the way we're going to do this is we have 2 main outputs, one for left and one for right, right here. And we're going to take XLR cables, otherwise known as microphone cables, and plug them from here to these two inputs right here. There we have it. Now we have connectivity from our mixer to our power amp. The next thing we need to do is connect our speakers to our power amp. Remember, our power amp gives power to our non-powered speakers so that they can have power to project sound. So that's what our power amp does for our speakers. So let's go ahead and connect it. We will be connecting our speakers to our power amps using speak-on cables. So go ahead and plug these in. There we go. Next, again, before we turn anything on, we want to plug our instruments or our laptop in. Since our laptop is going to be going into the mixer must be off. Because if you have the mixer on and the gain on your mixer is up or anything like that, you can blow the channel and the channel will be ruined for good. And if you have your speakers on and your power amp on, you could blow your speakers because of the loud noise that comes from plugging this in to a live active channel on your mixer. So everything is off except for this, which is okay. And we're going to go ahead and plug in our laptop into channel 1. Now that we have all of our gear plugged in and ready to go, we're ready to turn everything on. But before we do, we need to talk about the order in which to turn your gear on. The first thing that should be on is your stage gear. And for this example, we're using our MacBook Pro, which will be playing music from iTunes, because it is our example of stage gear. It's going to be running audio coming out of the Mac going into our mixer. So our MacBook Pro will be the first thing turned on, and as you can see, it's already on. The next thing we need to do before we turn our mixer on is make sure that all of the trim knobs at the top or gain knobs at the top are turned all the way down. Okay, because if there's any signal that happens to be playing from our Mac and it's too strong for our mixer and these gain knobs are turned up, we can actually blow the channel. So we want to avoid doing that by turning the gain or trim knobs all the way down. Okay, so now that we know that everything's down, we'll go ahead and turn our mixer on. Now this is a digital mixer, so it takes a couple of seconds to boot up. Now once our mixer is on, we can go ahead and turn our power amps on. There we go. Now, let's go ahead and see if we get some sound. Now to do this, we're going to go ahead and start playing some music from our Mac. Okay, I'm going to turn my main fader up just a little bit. I'm going to turn the trim on channel 1 where our laptop is plugged into. I'm going to turn it up just a hair. And with this mixer, I can actually test the input before I turn our power amp up. So I can see, you probably can't see it here, but right here I can see that we're getting some volume here. Now, let's start turning the gain up on our power amps. We have sound. Now that we know that we have sound, let's say we just performed a show. We're all done, we're ready to tear down. Remember the order in which we turned everything on? It's going to be backwards. Which means first, we're going to turn everything down on our amps. Then we'll turn our amp off. Then we will turn everything down on our mixer. And then turn our mixer off. Then we can turn our stage gear off. In this case, our laptop. My name is David Crandall. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm always making tutorials on recording music, either in FL Studio or other programs, doing reviews, and other tutorials such as live sound. So please subscribe, and if you have any questions about recording music, live sound, software, as far as music software and recording software, leave them in the comments below or send me a message personally, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can or make a tutorial based on your question. So until next time, have fun making music.